Hello everyone, how are you all? So here I am Rishabh and today we are going to discuss the chapter Reserve Bank of India. We all know for banking examination whether you are going to give your SBI or your IBPS. There are ample questions from this particular chapter. So in this session I'll try to cover as much as possible every bit that is relevant to your examination, and I'll try to explain it in the best possible manner by giving you the background of every topic. So let's begin with it. Today in the session of RBI, we are actually going to cover multiple aspects starting with the history of RBI, then composition of RBI, after that functions of RBI, and then subsidiary of RBI. See, all these things which will be covered in this session will be covered through your various PPTs which I have brought for you. But before starting with these PPTs, I must tell you that it is better to go with a little bit of history, and that I'll be telling you by handwritten way. So let's focus on that. See, after the beginning of year 1900, we saw there was a lot of economic chaos in the entire world, not just in India. And this chaos surmounted after the First World War, which took place from 1914 to 1919. If you look into this tenure, after year 1900, many banks were established. Many banks. Literally, I am saying many banks. If you go on and check for Bank of India and many other banks, the establishment date will be around 1906 or something. So why people were actually getting into this banking business? Because this was the scenario in which there was a lot of economic disruption and everybody needed funds for starting something. Even farmers were needing loans to carry on their farming activity. And what made people to just look into this demand, that there was a huge profit. So every particular money lender who was having huge surplus money came into this banking business, and there was cropping up of many private banks. So till 1921, what we saw, there were many private banks established in India, and these private banks were actually now indulging in fraud activities and were looting the fellow citizens, for which the citizens went to the British government, because at that time India was not independent and we were under the British rule. So the Indians went to the British government with their misery that banks are looting us, they are taking surplus interest, they are not providing corpus at the right time, means every sort of complaint they just put forth before the British government. Now what happened, British government, noticing all such actions, went on for a discussion and they established a commission which was called Commission on Indian Currency and Finance. Commission on Indian Currency and Finance or Finance. And this commission was established in 1926 under the chairmanship of Hilton Young. That is why this commission is also called Hilton Young Commission. Now, this commission looked into the situation of Indian banking system and came up with an idea of setting up of central bank in India. And when this central bank was proposed, it was in 1926. But lot of discussion was needed at that time because India was going through political turmoil as well. So it took a long time, and in 1934 an act was passed which was called Reserve Bank of India Act or RBI Act 1934. And with the help of this act, next year on 1st of April, RBI was established. So this was the reason for establishment of RBI. That was to create a central bank which could administer such private banks or look into the activities of such private banks, so that these private banks do not indulge in any kind of fraud or fraudulent activities. Clear? So everybody is clear why RBI was created, what was the history behind our creation of RBI. Alright. So RBI was created on 1st of April 1935. After that, what events occurred? See, after the creation of RBI, its headquarter was fixed at Calcutta at that time. So you can say that initial headquarter was at Calcutta. This was your question in previous examinations as well. Alright. And during this tenure, the first person, or you can say the first governor to lead RBI was Sir Osborne Smith. Sir Osborne Smith. So Sir Osborne Smith was the first governor of RBI from the tenure 1935 when RBI was created. And this tenure of his lasted till 1937. Then what we see that in 1937, the headquarter was changed to Mumbai. Headquarter changed to Mumbai. And when this headquarter was changed, RBI also got its second governor, whose name was James Taylor, Sir James Taylor. Clear? So these were the first two governors of RBI. James Taylor tenure started from 1937 and ended in 1943. In 1943, RBI got its first Indian governor. The first Indian governor to head RBI was C.D. Deshmukh. Remember, C.D. Deshmukh was an Indian, and as we all know that Deshmukh kind of surname is popularly seen in the region of Mumbai. So he was a Mumbaikar. Now, the next fact which comes into our mind is, so when RBI was created, was it a government body or it was a private body? See, during the creation of RBI, a lot of discussion was done. So government of India was not into it to create a government body for it. So major corpus, that is 95% corpus, was brought in by private shareholders. And only 5% stake was from central government, at that time held by British government. So this was the initial, you can say, ownership of RBI, which clearly shows that it was majorly private body. Alright, so you can think that private body is always involved in what? Money making, profit making. So although it was regulating the affair of other private banks, but still the motive of all the banks including RBI was what? Making profit. Clear? Is it clear? Now, after 1943, what we see that in 1947 we get independence. So in 1947, when India got independent, then the real issue came up. What was the real issue? The real issue was that India was not having surplus fund after independence. We were not having surplus fund. We were lacking in surplus fund. And at this time, 80% of our population was in rural land, means people living in villages. Now, in order to develop India, either the government should get huge fund for it in order to supply it to the rural land and develop rural land, or they can come up with certain policy which can do it without initiating their own fund. So what people in the government came up that instead of putting their own fund, why not to send banks to the villages? Why not to send banks to the villages? Now you tell me, will any private entity go to village to do development, which is actually the task of government? Will they ever go? No, because their task is to earn profit, and profit can be earned in cities, not in rural hinterlands. So that is where the clash started. In 1947, what happened? The then government just went to RBI and asked them to open branches, or asked bank to open branches in different villages of India, for which RBI just heard their words but didn't act. When all such actions were noticed by central government people in the government, they then realized that they don't have any power to actually force RBI or other banks to do their task. So this was when central government came up with an idea of nationalization of bank. Now, for nationalization, they thought, if I have to nationalize, then which one to nationalize first, bank or RBI? See, suppose they would have nationalized bank and they wouldn't have nationalized RBI, then too the task wouldn't be done. Why? Because RBI would have been still out of their power. So what they thought, why not to first nationalize the leader? So they went on to nationalize RBI, for which RBI nationalization was done in 1949. And another question which comes to our mind, that if RBI was nationalized in 1949, then why do we see banks getting nationalized in 1969? See, RBI was nationalized in 1949. Now, RBI was a government-owned entity. How nationalization took place? Whatever fund was there of private entities, government gave it back. Now, how much fund of private entities was there? RBI was created with a capital of 5 CR, that is 5 crore. So, government just had to give that 5 crore to those private individuals who were holding the share in RBI and can take the control of the company, that is RBI. So, this was what was done by government. They just gave 5 CR, that is 5 crore, to the people who were holding the shares in RBI and took the control of complete RBI. So this is how RBI got nationalized in 1949. But nationalizing RBI was not just one thing to do. Another thing was they need to give RBI the power to regulate the banks, for which another act was passed, that was Banking Regulation Act 1949. So there was a question being asked in your examination, that RBI controls bank by which particular act? Many people answer RBI Act 1949. No, it's 1934. No, it's wrong. Banks are controlled by RBI through Banking Regulation Act 1949. Is it clear? Now, next thing is, when RBI was, you can say, a kind of, all the shares were bought by central government and they started controlling RBI by nationalizing it. So it should have become, you can say, government body. No, RBI is owned by government. RBI is owned by government and is under Ministry of Finance, but is not regulated by Ministry of Finance, because RBI has its own act, that is RBI Act 1934, by which RBI is regulated. So owing it is something else, regulating is something else. So RBI is owned by government, but RBI is not regulated by government. RBI is an autonomous body which is regulated by its own act of RBI Act 1934. So let us revise whatever we have done till now. See, this was the first pointer we did it, that RBI came into existence after recommendation from Hilton Young Commission. What was the other name of Hilton Young Commission? That was Commission on Indian Currency and Finance. And this commission was in which year? 1926. Then RBI was established on 1st of April 1935. By which act? RBI Act 1934. Initial headquarter of RBI was what? Calcutta till 1937. Established in 1935, means for 2 years it was Calcutta. And then headquarter was changed to Mumbai in 1937, and from that date till now it is there in Mumbai only. Alright. RBI initially acted as Burma's central bank also till April 1947. Remember this. Burma, now called Myanmar. Alright. And it also acted as Pakistan central bank till June 1948. So I think all these things are clear to all of you. Yes or no? Now, RBI was initially a privately owned bank with a corpus, or you can say capital, of 5 CR. And these 5 CR were privately owned by private individuals, which government gave back while nationalizing RBI. Clear? And initially, when government owned 5% stake in RBI, that 5% stake was equivalent to 2200 shares that were allotted to central government in the beginning, when it was a private shareholder. So many teachers I see on YouTube come and teach you that RBI was fully private owned. No, it was not fully private owned when it was made in 1935. At that time also, 5% stake was with central government, which was British government. Clear? And to nationalize RBI, the decision was taken in February 1947 only, before the independence, but full-fledged approach to nationalize it started in 1948. Clear? Now, how was RBI nationalized? RBI was nationalized after passing of an act which is called Public Ownership Act 1948, and the entire share was then transferred to central government. Central government paid off whatever the money was to be paid, and by this very act only, RBI became the you can say in the hold of central government. Then Banking Regulation Act 1949 was passed to empower RBI to regulate banks. So now what we see, that RBI started regulating all the banks, and branches of different banks started to be opened in different part of the country. So I think this much is clear to all of you, everybody. Yes or no? If any doubt, let me know. So first governor of RBI, Sir Osborne Smith, you can see his picture over here, 1935 to 37. Then second governor of RBI, James Taylor. And then third governor, who is also the first Indian governor, C.D. Deshmukh. This is the tenure of the three governors of RBI. These first three governors are important for your examination, and you have to go through only these. Apart from that, you have not to learn any. But current one is important. Like this current one, whenever you are going for examination, the current governor needs to be done also. So current governor is Shaktikant Das, 25th governor of RBI. Alright. So now what's the organization of RBI? We have done the history of RBI. This is actually the geography of RBI. Means how our RBI structure is organized, who are members, how many members are there. So RBI in all has 21 members. How many members are there in RBI's organization? 21 members. Starting with the main head, that is the governor, who is also the chief executive of Reserve Bank of India. And who is currently holding this position? Shaktikant Das, who is retired IS. Alright. Apart from governor, RBI also appoints 4 deputy governors. Remember, deputy governor cannot be they cannot be more than 4. Alright, they can only be maximum 4 deputy governors. Apart from that, there are 10 government nominated directors, which are from different sectors of economy like agriculture, industry, trade, profession, etc. You don't have to learn all of them. Then there are 4 directors from regional local boards. We all know that 4 metropolitan cities. Those 4 metropolitan cities are actually zonal office of RBI, and RBI has created these zonal headquarters or zonal offices in order to administer all the banks in a very fine, or you can say appropriate manner. So 4 directors are taken from 4 zonal offices. Apart from that, 2 finance ministry representatives are also put into this RBI. These are members from central government. One is your Economic Affairs Secretary and the other is Financial Service Secretary. Currently, Economic Affairs Secretary is Ajay Seth and Financial Secretary is M Nagaraju. These 2 names are important. You need to learn them. Alright. Now, moving forward, Shaktikant Das, you can see over here, and the current deputy governors are M.D. Patra, Mikhail D. Patra, M. Rajesh Rao, T. Ravi Shankar and Swaminathan J. Is it clear to all of you or not? Now, what are the main functions of RBI? See, RBI, we have learned that banker to bank or banker to government. Yes or no? We have done this much, banker to bank or banker to government. Apart from that, RBI issues banknote apart from 1 rupee note. 1 rupee notes are issued by Government of India. 1 rupee note and 1 rupee coin. RBI undertakes distribution of all the notes and coins on behalf of government. Alright. It formulates and administers the monetary policy. Monetary policy is actually to regulate, you can say, the monetary affairs of the country. Monetary Policy Committee has 6 members, 3 from RBI and 3 from Government of India. It also represents India at IMF. It promotes the growth of the economy and framework, you can say, of general economic policy of the government. Now, RBI has been entrusted in 2016 with one more duty by central government. That is to control, or you can say regulate, inflation, for which RBI has set the target of 4 plus minus 2. That is, the maximum inflation can go up to a range of 6, and sorry, maximum can go up to 6 and minimum can go up to 2. So the range is from 2 to 6. That is why we write 4 plus minus 2. Alright. This task was entrusted to RBI in 2016 by central government by amending RBI Act 1934. So you can just see that government had to entrust a certain task to RBI, for which they needed to amend RBI Act 1934, which clearly symbolizes that RBI is an autonomous body which is governed by its own act of RBI Act 1934. Clear? Once again, revision done. Secondly, RBI manages different banks with the help of Banking Regulation Act 1949. Now, subsidiaries of RBI. This is another important aspect of this particular topic, or I must say, very important aspect of this particular topic. The very first subsidiary is Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, that is DICGC. Second is Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, BRB NMPL, and this one is important because I will tell you something extra about it as well. Third is Reserve Bank Information Technology Private Limited. Fourth, Indian Financial Technology and Elite Services, that is IFTAS. And the last and you can say the latest created, which is working on digital rupee, is Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, that is RBIH. Now the fact is that many people, I just see that, still teach you that NABARD is a subsidiary of RBI. I must tell you, NABARD is not a subsidiary of RBI. Remember that. If anyone is ever telling you such fact, I won't acclaim him, means I won't ask you to go and say to anyone that you're telling wrong, but I would just say that might be possible that he or she is not quite updated. Alright, so you be updated. And one more thing, some people might tell you that there are 4 subsidiaries of RBI. They might not tell you about this 5th one, that is Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. There also is lack of updation. That is why we say that updation is very necessary when we come to current affairs as well as banking affairs. So RBI Reserve Bank Innovation Hub was created on 24th of March 2022, the latest subsidiary of RBI. Clear? So let's move on to a depth learning about all of these. First, we'll look into Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. So everybody must be having different types of accounts in different banks. Might be possible you are having multiple accounts in the same bank. Now, when I say multiple accounts, I mean savings account, current account, fixed deposit account, or you can say recurring deposit account. All right. So it doesn't matter if you are having single account or you are having all account in one bank. Bank by this particular subsidiary guarantees you an insurance of 5 lakh rupees, up to 5 lakh rupees. That means if you are keeping a total amount of you can say 2 lakh rupees in the bank, divided as 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, and suppose bank crashes. In that case, Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India gives you an insurance up to 5 lakh. Means your 2 lakh rupees will be given back to you by this particular organization. All right. But many people are not aware about it, that your money which is put in particular account in certain bank is insured because you are not paying it. We remember those insurance for which we are paying it, whether it is LIC, whether it is health insurance, whether it is car insurance. We know about all these insurance because we are paying for it. But there are some insurance which are given by government and we are not paying for it, but they are securing our deposits. So you need to know about it. Now, whenever you go and put money in certain bank or in any kind of bank, remember that your money is being secured by DICGC. Now, that was a good point. Now, what negative point I'm telling you? Never put more than 5 lakh in any bank. If you have fund more than 5 lakh, try to distribute that fund into multiple banks. See, I'm giving you a very fine advice because the insurance is up to 5 lakh only. If you are having 50 lakh in one account, or you can say 50 lakh in one bank in multiple accounts, then too also bank will only pay you 5 lakh as insurance. If I'm not saying negative about anything, but if suppose the bank crashes. So this is a good advice to you, a financial advice. All right. So how was this DICGC established? DICGC was established on July 15, 1978 after the merger of two organizations, that is DIC and CGCI. Now DICGC ensures all type of bank deposits, whether it is saving, current, recurring, FD, every. And you are paid up to a maximum 5 lakh per depositor, as I already told you. Now, DICGC was established on 15th of July 1978, but regulation for it, or you can say act for it, was passed in 1961. That was DICGC Act 1961. It took a long time to actually, you can say, ensure all those things, because at that time when the act was passed, not every bank was a government bank. So in 1969, we saw banking nationalization was done and 14 banks were nationalized. So this actually gave an upper hand to the government to just enforce their laws on to certain banks. Headquarter of this is in Mumbai because it is a subsidiary of RBI and closely working with RBI. So the headquarters is also in Mumbai. Now it is headed by any deputy governor. Currently it is being headed by Mikhail D. Patra, MD Patra, and it's not like that he will only govern it. It can be any deputy governor. It is on a rotation basis. All right. Then is your Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, BRB NMPL, which was established in 1995. It is also a private limited company. Now, why we say private limited company? See, private limited means the shares of this company cannot be bought by general public. Reliance is a public limited. Public limited means Reliance has opened its share into the share market and we are buying its share. But those companies which are not putting their shares for general public to buy are called private limited companies. So BRB NMPL is one such company which is a private limited company and is a subsidiary of RBI with headquarters at Bengaluru. It is also headed by any deputy governor, and this particular Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited has been tasked to print currency notes. So RBI prints its own currency note. So where does RBI print its currency note? See, again I am telling you, many people will tell you that RBI owns 4 printing press. That is wrong. RBI does not own 4 printing press. RBI only owns 2 printing press, that is one in Mysore, Karnataka, and next is Salboni in West Bengal. And why this confusion arises, that is where I will tell you some extra point which is not in this part, that is subsidiary of RBI. This is an extra slide which I have brought in for you for extra information and to bring the clarity for this topic. See, there is an organization under Government of India which is called Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited. As you all can see the word security. Now what are securities? We all know about government securities, T-bills and all that. Apart from that, we all know about your papers on which registry is done, register paper, or you can say notary stamps. How means where are they printed? There must be any printing press where government is printing all these things. So government also has its own printing press where it prints such kind of, you can say registry papers and all that. And this particular printing press is under Security Printing Ministry Minting Corporation of India Limited. It was established on 13th of January 2006 and the current chairman is Tripti Patra Ghosh. Headquarters is in New Delhi. This corporation was actually tasked by taking over, first of all, two security presses, where security presses, you all know, secured government security bills are printed and registry papers are printed, stamp papers, I mean. These are printed in Nasik and Hyderabad. So these two printing press belong to Government of India and are under this particular organization, that is Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited. They are not under RBI. So many people might tell you that there are four printing press under RBI, Nasik and Hyderabad they'll add along with Mysore and Salboni. But that is wrong. Nasik and Hyderabad are under SPMCIL. Alright. Then currency note printing, one at Nasik and one at Devas. Now which currency note? That is 1 rupee note. 1 rupee note is printed by Government of India. So Government of India prints its currency note at what place? That is Nasik and Devas. Then Government of India also mints coin, means RBI is tasked to regulate, or you can say uh, moderate, modulate, you can say, coins and currencies into the market. But who mints it, or where these coins are minted? So these coins are minted in four different mints in India, and these four different mints are in number one, Mumbai, then Kolkata, Hyderabad, and Noida. How you will figure out that coins are minted at which particular mint? You must have seen on your coin date written 2019, 2020 somewhere. Just below the date year, you will find some symbol. If there's a dot, then it is printed in Noida. It's minted in Noida. If there's a star, it is minted in Hyderabad. If there's a diamond, it is minted in Mumbai. And if there is no symbol over there, then it is minted in Kolkata. Alright. Now, previously we used to see that there's a news coming that lot of currency notes are coming from our neighbor Pakistan into our country. You know why? Because India and Pakistan both imported paper on which currency notes are printed from Russia. So it was easy to make fake currency in Pakistan because the paper was same. But now Government of India since 2019 has done one more good task, I would say. They have started their own paper mill for our own currency note, thereby reducing the chances of fake currency in regulation. All right. So now we have one security paper mill at Hoshangabad. So all these activities are under Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited, that is SPMCIL, and it is not a subsidiary of RBI, and none of these organizations are under RBI. So if anyone says that RBI has four printing presses, better tell him that RBI owns only two printing press, that is one in Mysore in Karnataka and next is Salboni in West Bengal. Is this clear to all of you? Then moving on to the third organization, or you can say subsidiary of RBI, that is Reserve Bank Information Technology Private Limited. It was established in 2016, headed by Kiran Karnik, and we all know, as the word says, information technology. IT requirements are now at boom in every particular sector, so that is in RBI as well. So RBI fulfills all its IT requirements through this particular subsidiary. All right, you just need to go through this, not much more needed. Then comes our fourth, that I'll tell you by that slide only, subsidiary one. Fourth is Indian Financial Technology and Elite Services, that is IFTA, established in 2019. It has been tasked with creating financial technological network between banks and RBI. We are moving in a technical driven society, and technology is being enhanced at every step of our day-to-day life. So banks and RBI also have lot of functions going on in between them. So in that case, if any financial technology help is needed, it is being provided by IFTAS. It is also a subsidiary of RBI. And last but not the least, that is Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, RBI, established on 24th of March 2022. It is the latest owned subsidiary of RBI, which is working on the development of digital rupee. So this was all from today's session. I feel that you must have learned many facts and got that these are very, very important when it comes to your examination. So if you just go through what I have taught about the history of RBI, composition of RBI, functions of RBI, and subsidiaries of RBI, I must tell you that RBI topic will give you at least 3 marks in your examination. And whatever information I have given you in this session is sufficient with respect to this topic. So I hope you must have found it interesting and knowledgeable. I wish you all the very best for your upcoming examination, and will just want you to go through each and every topic thoroughly and revise it. Thank you. Thanks a lot, and God bless you.